Hello! Welcome back, everyone! It's Billy Cultist. We're back in Namaste, or No Man's Sky, as you may know it. I do believe that Sean Murray, his intention was to name it No Man's Sky so that it would sound like Namaste. He wanted the connection to the divine and all that stuff webbed in there, in between, and under, and over. This lake looks really good today. Looking really nice. I'd like to take a swim. But, we have a lot of work to do. We are still building the mining tower. Progress needs to progress. You know what I'm saying? We need to put, I wanted to add another, so we need one more level of storage, hoppers at least, for mineral storage. We've got 3 now. We need at least one more, so that's going to be a little work. Oh, but I thought that as we kick off, since we are in the times of the update, honorable update has been dropped, and we live in the times in which it is fresh on the brain. I figured, since the last time, I took us on a little journey. You know, we went off to see, briefly, a water planet, which, by the way, thank you, Hello Games. They fixed the water glitch that I showcased. In fact, I think they fixed it the very day that I showcased it. Late to the party, Billy. But, no harm done. We're gonna head on over. Because I had done a little exploring in the interim, and I'm going to show you one of the other types of planets. I'm sure that everybody's probably seen this by now, based off the fact that every other YouTuber is so on top of the game and showing everything day one. But just in case, I'm going to take you all to see a gas giant. So get ready for that. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, I went off and I found a gas giant. So we'll quickly just look at that. I'll go down to the surface and let you see both the spectacle of a gas giant from orbit. Technically it's not orbit, but from space. And from the surface as well. I say technically it's not orbit because in No Man's Sky you don't really orbit. There's no orbital mechanics. Yes, we are now on this... What exactly? Habitable base. Well, anyway. Let me see that. What was this base called? Oh, it's just called Gas Giant. Something I saw was odd. I'm going to look at my discoveries for a second. Okay, nothing there. I thought I saw a very... Wait a minute. Okay, that's what I saw. The system name... To me, the system name seems funny at a glance, but anyway. I like that. The random generated name for the gas giant is, Obi? Obi, if it's Obi, that reminds me of Jar Jar Binks. But regardless, let's not waste time. Let's get into the ship and on our way into the clouds. Now, I personally think gas giants are a lot of fun, though they're not quite what I had imagined. And unfortunately, the sun is on the other end. It's quite large. I may go around to the other end just to show you, Oh wait, we don't have to. It's lit. So you can see our gas giant's, this kind of blue and white coloration. It's huge. As I understand it, these giant planets they have added are about 10 times the size of a regular planet. So they are very huge. Now the descent, I will remark, it's not quite as epic as I would have thought before actually seeing it. you just kind of hit this fog layer, and you know, you don't see like a sea of, like, say, thunderheads and towering monumental cloud formations with lightning coursing through them. You just kind of hit this fog layer, and then you have to be careful because you'll hit the surface. There is a lot of odd debris floating in the atmosphere here. Also, the atmosphere is not that deep. Not compared to what I would expect from an actual gas giant, or what I believe they are scientifically supposed to be like. But here, we can walk on the surface, and it is cool to look at. So, I find it pretty acceptable. And there's all this weird floating debris. And as a connoisseur of, what do you call this, hazardous, intense weather, I really do kind of enjoy building bases in this kind of environment. So I appreciate the fact that these gas giants are basically a guaranteed way to just get a constantly hazardous, stormy environment to sate my appetite for that kind of thing. But yes, it's quite interesting. We have a very green environment here, which I wouldn't have been led to believe that it would be that way from space, because, as you recall, it was blue and white. But yes, this is quite interesting, quite cool. A lot of tornadoes, so you might have to keep your wits about you. But that's about it. We need to go now back to the base. Unlike the water planet, there's no special glitches or anything that I've noticed on the gas giants yet. So, that's a really pleasant thing to know. And I'm glad of that. But yes, we need to get back to Molaria to begin anew our old task of completing the extraction tower. So I will just call in the good old, well, if I can't get away from the gravitation of the planet. It does seem to be that gas giants, you have to go quite a ways. Actually, we'll take it into pulse for a bit here. And pull out, that should do it. Yes, we'll make our way back to Molaria now. After that little brief aside to see that wondrous sight. But I'm really pleased with both these additions. The deep water planets and the gas giants are really welcome in my eyes. And I praise the addition of those pretty highly. And even though there's a few wonky aspects, I don't think they're enough to warrant lack of enthusiasm on my part for these additions. So now, we'll go on back. And we'll be at Molaria. And we'll start working on getting those hoppers put in. And hopefully we won't have to go ferrite mining, though we may. I have determined that if we do have to go ferrite mining again, I will attempt to install on my vehicle a nice, precious set of shotguns. Or, I think they call it a scatter gun, but I'm just going to call it a shotgun in the terrestrial manner to which all Earth people, well, not all, but I would think most are accustomed. A shotgun back at the retreat. But let's see what we can do before we have to go on that kind of a journey. Let's start adding these wonderful hoppers. And before we can start doing that, we're going to have to go ahead and get the next level set. Those are all in there, nice and steady. So let's continue with what we were doing. Okay, stick there, sir. I'll just put these all around the outside. as they need to be. Before proceeding onward to do it with these single wall pieces. Now, I guess in some sense, this wasn't the most efficient way to build this base scale-wise, because, as you can see, I'm having to make up the uneven wall differences with a lot of extra pieces based on the fact that these smaller pieces are, in fact, well, smaller, and I have to put them in to fill in these gaps. So it might have been more efficient for me to... We could move to a smaller floor panel now and start capping these. But if I had instead kept it to a situation where I could have used singular walls, probably the double wall, I could have used a single one, which of course would not have given us space for 3 hoppers on each side of our hex, but we could have just made more levels of hoppers to compensate. I really don't know as far as efficiency in base building is concerned in No Man's Sky. Unlike Dreams, I don't quite go as deep into that efficiency rating in this game, and I just tend to kind of go along. So far, I really haven't hit any road bumps in any bases I've built. And that being said, though, my bases, they don't, I would say, in terms of things I've seen in No Man's Sky, tend to be on the very complex side or large, elaborate side. I suppose we could debate that based on what you're seeing here, but compared to other bases, people have built, you know, like, whole replicas of the castle at Osaka or whatever. I'm not sure if I've got that location right on that, but you know, that famous Japanese palace or castle that is often seen in photographs and other media. You know, things like that, or the entire, you know, St. Paul's Cathedral or something, for example, recreated in No Man's Sky. I've seen such things. Quite elaborate. I don't tend to do that. I tend to just, you know, do what I'm doing here, which is... I like to put a sort of complexity to it. That is, I don't usually just go with... We could get rid of this indium here. I need to free up some space, for sure. I'll free up... Wait a minute, maybe I won't free that up. That's an expansion slot. These meaty bits, though, I don't think are necessary. And what else could I unload? Quad servo. I don't know what that's for. I'm probably doing a huge bad boo-boo by getting rid of that, but in my haste, as is often the nature of myself, I will just take the lumps of that activity. We're going to go ahead and intensify forward firepower on the manufacturing side of things as far as we can, because I know we're still probably not going to have enough 80. We'll see what we can do with that. It will be nice to be done adding the hoppers, because the hoppers are, as I said, probably the most boring, tedious part of a base for me. And that's because they cost so much. You have to make so much resource sacrifice and time sacrifice by extension just to get these things set up. You know, each one costing 10 metal plate. Pretty grindy. You know what I'm saying. Let me know in the comments if you agree with that. Maybe as an old an old expert of No Man's Sky. If you're watching, you have some kind of differing opinion on that. You know, maybe you know some other thing that's more tedious that you'd like to suggest. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that if you want to give them. For sure. Alright, see, we're still going to need... Let's, fingers crossed, we could just go ahead and do this. However, in a way, I suppose I would like to return on a ferrite mining mission. I'll probably have to do that at any rate at some point, but I would like to return just on the basis of installing that shotgun. I think that might be a fun little side quest for us to partake in. It's always nice to kind of break up the tedium of building the base with a little bit of adventure. And even though it might not represent a massive adventure, a little change of scenery can do the heart good. I think, though, we might make it. That is, if I actually choose to stop here. We do have a ton of hoppers now, though. I mean, you could debate, you know, about this. That's not very many hoppers, Billy! My base had like 1,000 of them! You know, we could talk about that, but... To me, this is quite a bit. Honestly, I usually go with a few less than this sometimes, but this is quite a few storage hoppers for a mining spike. I think it's well for us to just call that the collection level and let that be the way that is. I think to add a little bit of breakup and variation to the exterior will make some of this metal stuff. Actually, wait. I'll go with this one to diversify. Right there. We might add on top of this one the other extruded part, if possible. Sometimes the extruded parts are quite finicky when trying to get them to snap into place. So we'll have to see about that. But, and of course, we'll have to do this again. Which I'm not against at all. I can handle that. Anything for the artistry of it. So you can see, of course, my philosophy at work here. Well, maybe you can't, but I'll explain it if you can't. I build a base, usually with a utilitarian purpose, such as extracting minerals or gas, which is currently the only things you could do. You can extract electromagnetic power, which is what we're going to be doing up on the ridge there in a little bit when we have to build the power station, since that's what we're going to rely on to power this operation. We're going to have to build a power spike station, which is kind of cool. But unfortunately, gas extraction and mining is kind of the only real utility extraction in No Man's Sky currently. And I wish... Well, I guess you could add farming. You could kind of farm and harvest that way, but I wish there was more. In No Man's Sky, it's one of the things is things just don't feel okay. I see the problem we're gonna have with these. I was thinking we would add these to this top part, but I might not be able to, just based on the fact that there is no half section of wall that's extruded. However, I might just, you know, we'll have variation anyway if we go with the weird, which could be good in the long run. So I won't worry about that. I will put these in, at least for the wide parts of the wall. But yes, as to continue what I was saying before, No Man's Sky could really use, in my estimation, some more. See, this is the thing I was talking about with these. You get this thing where they won't rotate. I'm gonna try a trick, which can sometimes be if you go inside. Doesn't appear to be working. Well, that's a shame. I think. I'll try this. Sometimes if you go... Hello there, sir. Okay, if you go... Nope, it's not working. So we have two alternatives. I could try to place this in manually on here, which... That could take a little time. Or I could just... Except that this one wall is just not going to work. And we'll do that. Variation's fine with me. Let's go ahead and take one of these, and we'll just finish the rest of everything off with those. Just try to get some general variation to the exterior, but get back to that subject I was talking about. Basically, if No Man's Sky had a little more of this kind of harvesting stuff, I think that would help. It has, to me, a kind of a lack of purpose when you build a base. I mean, the best way, like I said, you could give it purpose right now in-game is to kind of make a mining base, but that's very limited options. You're either extracting gas or you're extracting minerals, and I guess there is farming, but it really is too bad there's not more stuff like that. And maybe I'm missing something, because I will admit, I wouldn't call myself a super deep guru of this game. So maybe if you're one of the experts, you know, you're like, oh, well, Billy, you're saying all this and you know nothing about the, I don't know, the ice cream industry in No Man's Sky that you could start up or something. I don't know what it, you know, all the secrets. Go ahead in the comments and let me know if there's some of that stuff that I'm missing. But, yes, my base philosophy, build a base to have a little in-game purpose, but then... You know, build it with some care. You know, build it with some love. You know, I'm not like a min-maxer or whatever. I want to get it done quick and get my resources. And you know, if I did that, I'd just build... You know, I'd just build some extractors and set up some hoppers and then call it a day. Because that's all you need to do. You don't need to build all this stuff. Okay, something's wonky there. What precisely occurred there? That's off level. What's going on with that? Okay, the rest of this is all, it all seems ship-shaped, so let's find out. Something very weird happened there. Okay, that's level. I don't know what went on with that. It's got something to do with something. I don't care. Anyway, there we are. We got that. What I'm going to do now... we could go inward. Or we could add like a walk. Well, kind of a walk, of course. If I add a walkway, I'm going to need a way to get to it. I would like to have a purpose to it, so I don't want to just add a walkway without any real purpose to it. You know what I need to do? I'm going to go ahead and keep building this tower up a little bit with these extractors because it just needs to go higher. So we'll get that set up if we possibly can. Gonna have to use these. Okay, that's good. We'll just put a... that. Great. And I want to take those out. Okay, great. And I'm going to put, I'm going to put these, of course, just to be neat. Kind of hide the edges. I like to do that. Like to do that a bit. Now I'm thinking about what to do for the rest of the spike to make it interesting, because I'm not going to make more layers of actual mining devices, but we can make this interesting. I think I know I have an idea what to do, what we'll do. I often like this because it has a very industrial look. Of course, it uses pure ferrite, so that could be a problem, because as you can see, we do not have, you know, a lot of that. But they do look good, so let's go for gray to kind of match the interior here. And I'm just going to light it up as good as I can on top of that, using that stuff as a guide. There's a lot of glitchery and stuff that exists in this game, basically, that will allow you, essentially it will allow you to get things, you know, completely perfect. But I find myself just eyeing it most of the time myself. Although, you know, there's people who will show you how to use those glitchy methods to do this stuff. And, you know, light it up completely perfect if you're absolutely super interested in getting that. But let's see here. Well, that goes up that high anyway. 3 left. Actually, I might delete this center one. What I'm going to do too is I'm going to add some of these. I'm going to start using these quite generously. These I really like. Although, fellow games, if you're watching, it would be great to have, I don't know why it's wood, but it would be great to have more of these. These are fantastic. I really like these. I'm going to try to light it up a bit on here, just because. Yeah, I really like these a whole lot. But it would be great to have more variations on them. They're very handy if you want to go ahead and make an interesting, you know, base. And I'm going to vary them on the way down, so that we get a kind of neat design. But I'm going to kind of add this central pipe. Because what we're doing here is purely artistic. It doesn't have any actual in-game merits. Like, this is just for show. But it's going to look cool. It's going to look like we've got some kind of pipe going up through the center that takes the mining stuff, you know, up. Takes the minerals up through. Okay, have we reached the bottom? I think, yep. Okay, that connects there, that's fine. And I might go ahead and add some of these little ones on the side, because that's nice. That looks neat. Kind of fit it in there. And I'll make that red. I always like to do that. Not all the time, but, you know, it's cool because then you have this red one, and that kind of creates a neat color contrast, and looks really industrial that way. Like, I don't know, maybe there's like some kind of hazardous thing passing through that pipe. Could do that on the other end too, like over here. I'll put it on free placement so it won't snap so much, just to get it started. See what we can do with that. Get that going all the way down. I guess I could have made this one yellow. That might have been a neat thing to do with it. Give you some real visual variation to it. But there we go. We're starting to see it, see? And you could make these move off of here. I didn't really rotate that one to the best possible way, so it's kind of wonky. This one might be better. And a little bit. You can always use this, though. I think what I'll do is take that, Or I could take the white. I like the white better. And what we'll do... Try to line this up. Well, that's going to be a little tough. I might use one of these cubes. Yeah, because that could make it go. These will snap. So that's why I would use these. They will snap into place. Of course, I want to try to line it up as best I can so it'll go in there. And I'll color it kind of a darker gray. Try to blend it into the wall. We'll see what we get. It might be a little off kilter, but... come on, it should... Yeah, see? Snaps like that. That's perfect. Yeah, and we can have it just go right in the side there. Looks nice. And we could do this, you know, lower down as well. Along this thing. At certain intervals. We don't always need the cube, because we could do this... Basically here we could do this quite well. Of course, we've got to make sure we've... got this on free placement, so that we can just line it without having it snap to the other pipes. But there we go. And then put it back on snap, and then get it into place. Looks quite nice. I like that. You can put them at different intervals to kind of add some visual variation all the way down. Put one way down here. Maybe we'll see what the situation is. Like right there, that's the place. Yeah, like right that. Like that. Oh, that hooks perfectly into that. That's cool. I like that. Actually, you know what I'll do? I'll just turn those red, so that hooks up real nice with that. So there, we've got some really interesting, you see why I like these pipes? I just wish, Hello Games, that you'd put, like, more variations, because, you know, like, with different aspects to them, you know, you could do all kinds of neat things. This is something I kind of want to say about this decorative part of this. If we just had... you know, some pieces. I'll do some to the outside to demonstrate. I was thinking of a little bit earlier, but we'll go in here, we'll get some more. Like, do you see this wall panel thing here? Tall cabinet, they call it? Well, it's kind of more for, like, inside decor, but it's scalable. And we could easily attach this to the outside to give some cool surface variation. And we could blend the colors in there a bit more. That one I think is best. But you see, we could do this on the outside and add some cool surface variation to this. I'll just put these, you know, to kind of break it up. Because you see how this thing just kind of looks like a big, you know, it's just all this flat, you know, sections or modules. It's kind of boring looking, kind of not very sci-fi. You know, it does, but it doesn't. You know what I'm getting at? When you add these things, it really makes it more visually interesting. Even though they don't have any purpose utilitarianism-wise, but it's quite neat. And we could use them that way, even though they're cabinets, but it would be so neat, Hello Games, if you would just make, like, I don't know, maybe 3 pieces. And don't make them anything at all specific. You know, have a theme like rusted metal or something going on, but don't make them a cabinet or something. Just make them something that you can stick on the wall, and it looks kind of like tech. and you can rotate it around and scale it. And that way we could add all kinds of cool surface detail to these bases, kind of break up this, which we can still do with this stuff, but you know, it's kind of meant for indoor stuff. It'd be so neat to have like a dedicated, oh, like external plating piece that you just stick on. It looks cool. And it doesn't have to be something in particular. Like, it doesn't have to be a cabinet. It's just kind of, you know, stuff on the wall. We'll see about that. Is that... I might stop with, you know, putting them there, but... Ooh. We could put... Could rotate it, kind of... That could be neat. I don't know, though. Sometimes these don't... Well, that would work okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. Sometimes rotation could be a little bit iffy, but let's get this a nice... Should we have it black? That's a nice dark. That's pretty dark. I think that goes pretty well. We'll just line that up as best we can. And, you know, since I'm not able to snap them or whatever, this is going to be, you know, not 100% lined up, but with a little bit of adjusting, you can get a pretty nice setup with this. See, we're just adding a little visual variation. And you do have to kind of think outside the box, you know. When you see these things, it's like, oh, that's a cabinet. I can only use that indoors to line the walls or whatever. It's like, well, you can, but you can also do this. It'll work in a pinch. You know? But, like, it would be so neat if they had, like I was saying, just bric-a-brac you could stick to the outside. And maybe have it in different, you know, themes. Like, oh, this is, you know, rusty stuff, rusty metal, or this is, you know, smooth, you know, clean stuff or whatever. But just kind of random tech. It doesn't have to be anything in particular. Just these usable modular surface plates you could attach to things in different ways and get different looks. You know, maybe some of it could have blinky lights and stuff on it. That'd be neat. Just wall panels with like blinky lights and stuff like you'd see in Star Wars or something. Anyway, there we go with that. I'm going to take a moment here to just kind of reflect on what I've done and think about where I want to go. I think I might put some pipes down the external sides here too. That might be neat to do. Might be pretty cool. We'll start by just hooking the... Yeah, that's a good place to do it. I'll start with a big one. I think that'd be good. Try to get a nice color that blends with that. And I'll try to line this up even though I don't think it's actually going to be super necessary. But we'll stick that there. I'm going to kind of put them along these external grooves we've kind of created. With the way we've built this extraction tower. And I know we're kind of taking a break here from going higher with the extraction tower, but I think I want to get this stuff in right now. While it's fresh on the mind, and we could go ahead and fit this all into the design later as we go up. I guess I'm going to just go ahead and have it be symmetrical. We didn't necessarily need to, but we'll put these all the way around. And then we'll switch over to the small one, and that should snap. I'll put that all the way around as well. Yeah, we can build a lot of these. These are nice and cheap. Okay, yeah, what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and move these all the way. I'll do one more level of that. And then I'll switch back to the big ones, because I think that'll be a nice variation. Okay, there we go. And we'll switch the color too, I think. Ah, we might do that really neat Okay, the first level I will put as this gray color, but then I think I might do that checkerboard pattern we were doing inside, or that stripe pattern. I thought that might be visually stunning, you know? Okay, there we go. So let's go and do the... have them going up, but do this black and white pattern. I do want to take a moment and just go inside and see how this looks for the inside. The clipping's not too obtrusive with these. It's not. That blends okay. Let's get back to it. Got a few rounds to make. Make sure we've got these. Yeah, this is going to be a little bit tedious, but there we go. Switch to the black. We'll go around. Actually, I'm kind of interested, because we're doing... I have not yet, with this philosophy, designed a power station. I think that might be pretty interesting, since we are doing this base powered by an actual power node instead of base power. I'm really kind of looking forward to working on the power tower. The power tower. It sounds pretty good. That's a Billy Cultist original. Do not steal. The power tower of No Man's Sky. It's probably some kind of really filthy euphemism that I know nothing of. But you can't be blamed for that. Can't be blamed for that. Almost everything seems like it's a euphemism now. You can't say anything before it comes out. It's somebody be like, do you know what you just said? It's like, what? It's like, you know what that means? It's like, man, every single word is something. Some kind of euphemism? Like, I get euphemisms, but in the 21st century, it's far too much. Far too much for all good. Okay, this will take... Okay, so here I might go ahead and switch back. Or not. What, should we switch back? I don't know. I will. Switch back. And switch size. I might actually go ahead and switch... No. Switch size all the way up. I don't know. Switch back to this gray color while we go up here. Just one. I think one will be fine. But look at that. It's really starting to look interesting, isn't it? Get in the comments and let me know what you think of this direction. But I will say, this is kind of what I tend to do with these bases is, you know, I kind of go this... I don't know what to call it, like a Ridley Scott alien isolation. I don't know what to call it. Look to the buildings. Okay, let's go ahead and go back to our pattern. It's going to be well worth it when we get all these in place. It's going to look good. We'll step back and we'll take a little time to step back and have a look at what we've done. I realize this may seem like slow going, but you know, artistic stuff is not a speedy process. If you want it to look good, you got to take the time to, you know, put some heart and soul into it. You can't be fast and furious about that. And I know you might be, oh, the AI can do it. It's like, well, one, there is no AI that can interface with No Man's Sky yet, as far as I know. And two, no, AI stuff is not going to have heart in it. Although I will admit, for the purposes of like a base in No Man's Sky, AI probably would, you know. But you still need to direct AI. You know, you have to have. That's the thing about AI is AI will not make good stuff if you just, you know, pump some stuff into it, you know, and say go. It's like it doesn't. At least that's my experience. You know, it's not like this miracle thing where it's like, oh, it will actually not actually good stuff. To the layman's eye, maybe, where they're just going to be wowed by details. But no, it's not going to actually be good stuff. Yeah, to make good stuff with AI, as with any other kind of art form, you're going to have to do some work. You're going to have to give it some guidance. Do some fine-tuning, that kind of thing. Because it's not going to. Not going to do what you think. At any rate, we're near the top. We got one. I'll put one more layer of these, and then we'll of course have to cut that because we have to build the tower itself further. I probably need to go back inside the tower and kind of think about where we're going, because I got to consider the interior too, because it is enterable. But for now, let's go get some distance. You know, go down to the lake maybe and take a look. You know what I might do? I might just go ahead and try to install that shotgun now. Just because. But see, look at that. That's looking quite a bit neater from the distance. Okay, our things disappeared from that distance. I don't know why. That's not typically a thing I've had happen. And they're still gone. Okay, there they are. Really? That's the distance at which they appear? That's really weird. I've never had that with the draw distance on those things. And now they're still there. Anyway, though, I like the look of it when it's actually appearing. Don't know why those disappeared. Okay, there they're gone again. Whatever, though. Draw distance befuddled. I like it. I like it. Look at that. That looks nice. I like that. And we have more to do. But I might go ahead and attempt to go get that shotgun and install it on the ship. Just to kind of break up the building. You know, monotony, kind of. We'll go try to do that. I don't think that I have currently a scattergun module. We can try to install. Nope, I have a missile launcher module, and that is it. Now those are appearing, and we're at a pretty fair distance, but we have to go to the space anomaly real quick to do this. So let's call the old Mother Goose out and get on board and get a shotgun module. Hopefully I'm not misremembering how to get my hands on this thing. And it truly is as easy as I imagine in my brain right this moment. Because I don't really want to go on super long quests to do this. We head up here to these stations of interest where the experts grant you access to some pretty tough technologies. And I believe the gun station... Nope, the ship station. I forget. This guy, Hyperion, will grant us what we're looking for. Okay, there we go. The Positron Ejector. And it's 49 nanites, and we're good to go because I have 4,000 some nanites. So we'll get that. And you know something else? We might as well get the upgrade, which I believe is available here. Fragment Supercharger. It overhauls the firing mechanism and faster, more accurate particles. That's great. We'll just install the entire kit and caboodle. Or at least try, because it's going to take some resources, and I don't know how easy those are going to be to come by. But we will make an effort. This will be in case we want to go back to the ice planet and mine more ferrite. Because this Positron Ejector is really the bee's knees when it comes to that method of mining. That kind of dredging stuff that I did. Alright, so let's go ahead and install or attempt to. We got wiring loops. We do not have uranium. And where is uranium? That's a good question. I don't know. We may be in luck if one of our planets has some uranium on it. Then we could easily get it without leaving the system. Otherwise, okay, copper, we don't have any uranium on that. What's over there? Uranium! Well, we'll head over to the mutated planet. We'll attempt to pick up some uranium and install this first stage of this shotgun. Got about 30 seconds to ride the work stream. We gotta think hard to figure out what we want to say while we're doing this. Because I know riding's a boring prospect, so what do we want to talk about when we're out here in deep space like this? We want to talk about real life issues? It's probably not a good idea. Unless, you know, maybe they're silly issues, I guess. I guess we could just talk about not having nothing to talk about, because here we are. Let's find the uranium. This planet's almost looks Earth-like from this. It's got green. It's a toxic. Or no, it's mutated. What? Oh, it's one of those worm-infested planets. Got it. Well, let's land here. Start looking for the uranium. Don't be alarmed. You're gonna see and hear things. Where's those? I don't know where it's at, but it doesn't matter. There we go. What? Okay, it does matter. That's the first time I've had it come up right under me like that. Alright. It's no big deal, though. That's another thing about No Man's Sky. They do, you know, they've put some interesting things, like the giant worms, into the game. But I thought this was the terrain. No, it's not. The problem with the worms, though, is they are not, you know, really a threat. At least, not to me. I don't. Maybe they're a threat if you're early level, but even then, I kind of doubt it. A lot of the creatures in No Man's Sky aren't really a threat. They're not very. They kind of need to look at sometimes, but they just don't really deliver on the whole. The ecosystem, you know, kind of needs more work. What is this? This thing's getting closer and closer, and it's, okay, now it's diverting. That's nice. How much uranium did we need? I'll check that again. 200. I think we'll reach, though, with this deposit. I think there's only like 50 left. But yes, I must say, they could improve the animals. Especially the predators. You could make the scary monsters just a bit better, I guess. I don't know. It's been said, and it's kind of true, combat's not really central in this game. It's kind of... I would say combat in this game is kind of weak. And of course, that's not necessarily the central focus of this game anyway. But it just seems to be something could be done about the predators. To kind of hype them up a bit or something. And then, for example, the new update with the you know, the deep ocean planets and all that stuff. They have giant squids, for example. But they're not interesting because they don't seem like they're actually dangerous. They're just... They look creepy, maybe. Alright, there we go. So there we go. We've got our Positron Ejector, at least the first level. And for that, we need 3 magnetic resonators. We've got the wiring loom. But we need the magnetic resonators. So, I do have the blueprint for those, I think. I do. Ionized, will we be able to make? Yeah, we will. Okay, great. Well, that was easier than I thought. We've got that fully installed now. I might want to shift these around, though. Move. Okay, I can't do that because I can't swap them out. Hello Games, maybe you could put in a thing where if I want to switch this with this, I could just press it'll swap that. It might be nice. Because now I can't... Okay, I can't arrange that. I don't know if that's going to really have any huge effect on that or not anyway, but I kind of would have liked to put them next to each other. Oh well, we better get back to Molaria though, because this was a little diversion. Get right back to Molaria. As quick as can be. I hear Civilization 7 is out. At least I think it's out. As of the time of recording this. Civilization 7 is out. I had a little interest in it, but I find that the release price is a little bit steep. And yeah, the game is just, I don't know. There's also paid DLC and stuff right on release, and it seems to be that the best strategy for the Civ 7 situation is to wait as long as it takes for the thing to go on discount and all the DLCs to come out so that they can also be purchased on discount as well, and then just get all that for less later. Just takes a little patience. Little patience. Yeah, I have heard that the standard version of the game is around $100, and it seems a little bit crazy. Yeah, let me know in the comments if you enjoy Civilization. I kind of enjoy it. I don't know. I'm not like an old Civ buff or whatever. I've been playing since forever or whatever, but I did play some Civ 6. I had a little fun, although, you know, it had some problems to my mind. Try to sit down over here. But yeah, sit down in this little beach area. Kind of like that's going to be... This may not be our landing pad, but for now it's kind of our landing pad. Just call that. Anyway, I think we've come to the end of our rope as far as this session's concerned. We've seen a few things though. And hopefully you have enjoyed this. So we got a little bit of progress on that tower. Although, you know, it's coming a little slow, but don't worry. We will get there, and we will see it climb and increase. But I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, definitely subscribe. Give a like to the video. Check out some of the other videos on the channel. And if you're interested in supporting us monetarily, we have means to do that. There's super thanks and stuff, but there's a big fat join button, and you can get memberships and perks from that. And there's another thing which you can do, which is there's a coffee link in the description if you want to do one time without membership. Just donate once. We appreciate that stuff too. But yeah, whatever you choose to do, I hope you had a great time. I hope you have a great day or night, as the case may be. I have been Billy Cultist. Bye bye.